Good day, students. Today, welcome to the class. Today, we are going to be looking at figure of speech. Yes, we are going to be looking at figure of speech. What is figure of speech? That's what we are going to be looking at. And why do actors, why do writers, why do playwrights, why do poets, why they make use of figure of speech? Those are all the things, and we are going to be looking at seven figures of speech. Those are the things we are going to be looking at today. So let's take it one after the other. Yes, authors often use figure of speech in both literature and poetry to enhance the writing. When they use figure of speech, it helps you to understand better. It helps the meaning it helps you to understand the meaning better, and it even helps you to enjoy what you're reading. Figure of speech present ordinary things in new or unusual ways. They communicate ideas that go beyond the words' usual literal meanings. That's what figures of speech are. So let's now look at the seven figures of speech we are going to be looking at today. Today we are looking at imagery, simile, metaphor, alliteration, hyperbole, onomatopoeia, personification. So when we look at starting from imagery, let's quickly look at the definitions of this. Imagery, when you talk about descriptive writing that appeals to the senses, yes, it appeals to your mental sense. When you talk about the sense of it appeals to your touch, sight, smell. Those are imagery is an yes, anything that appeals to the senses. We talk about descriptive writing rather that appeals to the senses. Then we have simile, when you have to compare two unlike things using like or as. Then there's metaphor, when you are also comparing two unlike things, but this time around you are not using like or as. Then we also have alliteration, repetition of beginning consonant sounds. There's also hyperbole. Hyperbole is a major exaggeration or overstatement. Onomatopoeia, a word that sounds like its meaning. Then we have personification, giving human traits or characteristics to something that isn't human. So let's start from imagery. What is imagery? You talk about descriptive writing that appeals to the senses. It appeals to your sight, it appeals to taste, to touch, to smell, to hearing. When you look at it this way, the descriptive writing helps to create a picture or image in our mind. Imagery, mental image, that is, they create this picture in our mind. That's, and you know, when a picture is created in your mind, it stays longer. You understand for a long time. You understand. Then let's look at examples of this imagery. The bearers bear the bride along like a pearl on a string. The way a pearl is on a string, that's the way the bearers bear the bride. So you know the mental image has been created. So you now understand the way the bearers bear the bride. And this is a line in a poem. Then let's look at another example. The bride skims like a bird on the foam of a stream. We had saying that the way the bride is, so you know, a bird is very light and easily a bird carries itself. So when you are saying that a bride skims like a bird, you are saying the way the bride moves, the bride is could be so slim, so light, it's able to lift herself up like a bird on the foam of a stream. So let's look at the next one. We have simile, when you have to compare two unlike things using like or as. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. You are comparing the bride and the pearl. And you know the bride and the pearl, they're unlike because the bride is human, pearl is non-human. So when you are comparing the softness of carrying the bride to the softly carried pearl, you are using what? A simile. Don't forget that like and as is used here. So let's look at more examples. She sways like a flower. She skims like a bird. She hangs like a star. She falls like a tear. A tear. His temper was as explosive as a volcano. All these things make use of like and as, and it's trying to compare the two things that are being compared. So let's look at metaphor now. Metaphor is a little bit different, yes, from simile. because in your simile you compare with use of like and as, but metaphor you don't compare. You don't compare, but they are similar. Let's now look at the examples. Let's compare metaphor and simile now. Mike is like a teddy bear. Mike is as soft as a teddy bear. You are still comparing Mike to teddy bear using like and as. But for metaphor, Mike is a teddy bear. You are straightforward. Oh, Mike is a teddy bear. Then we have that boy is like a pig. Oh, maybe the way the boy is always dirty. You are saying the boy is like a pig. Then that boy is as messy as a pig. You are still saying the same thing, but this time around you are using like as. But metaphor will just go straight that boy is a pig. So that in all aspects, in every aspect, the boy is what? Is just a pig. You can see that both the boy and the pig are compared, but simile makes use of like and as, while metaphor didn't use like or as. So let's now look at metaphor properly now. When you talk about metaphor, this is an implied comparison between two unlike things that actually have something important in common. There are two unlike things that actually have something important in common. The boy was a fish in the water. You are saying that the boy was, the way the boy swam, the boy was good in the water. You compare the boy to the fish. So that's another one. So let's now look at alliteration now. Alliteration. Let's look at others. Brad wore his blue and brown blazer. You can see something is being repeated. Then she springs like a beam on the brow of the tide. Gaily, oh gaily, we glide and we sing. Sea swans went swimming in the sea. Let's look at this now. Sue shook her silky silver hair as the sun was setting. Elizabeth easily eyed an elephant in the elevator. If you look at the other one, Elizabeth easily eyed now. You discover that a particular sound is also being repeated, but this time around it is not alliteration, because alliteration has to do with repetition of consonant sounds. When you're talking about repetition of a vowel sound, that's an assonance, not alliteration. But we are not looking at assonance today. Alliteration is what we are looking at. So when you talk about that repetition of beginning consonant sounds, such as look at the 6 silly swans went swimming in the sea. This is repeated in 6, in silly, in swans, in swimming, in sea. And you should note that it is not in all these words, all the words in the line, that this sound is repeated. But the moment you have it repeated at the beginning of 3-4 words, we'd say that there's an alliteration. Yes, the figure of speech alliteration is made use of. So let's now look at an hyperbole. 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 Look at what we have here. My backpack weighs a ton. You can't carry a ton. You can't carry it. But you are just trying to say that, oh, my backpack weighs so much. That's what you are saying. Then let's look at another example. The wolf was 100 feet high. You know how 100 feet high is? We have human being that as tall as 6, 7, 8 feet. We have that, okay? But this time around, you are saying 100 feet. Imagine how high. So it's not possible for us to have a wolf that was as high as 100 feet. It's just an exaggeration. Yes, let's look at this now. You could have knocked me over with a feather. Is it possible for anybody? No matter how lightweight you are, nobody can knock you down with a feather. I've told you a million times. Those are exaggerations. They are hyperbole. In those sentences, hyperbole, figure of speech, is made use of. Hyperbole is a major exaggeration or overstatement. Actors use this figure of speech to emphasize a point or to add human. I nearly died laughing. I nearly died when you don't have a laughing gas in you. So how could you die from laughing? So you are using this things to when you exaggerate, you you give an overstatement. You are trying to lay emphasis. You are trying to draw the attention of the person that is reading or that is listening to you to that part to make sure, oh, you really did this thing. That's what you're trying to do. Then we have onomatopoeia. Look at this. This is bee. This is a phone. When you see a bee, what comes, the sound comes to your mind, buzz. Then we also have a phone rings. They are all examples of what? They are both examples of onomatopoeia. A car moves. A fire, yes, this is a firework. Boom. Then we have a duck. Quack, quack, quack. So all these things are examples of what? Onomatopoeia. When you see this, you often hear boom, moo, moo, boom, and quack. Onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like its meaning. It can also be described as the use of a word which imitates a sound. Other examples include screech, whir, sizzle, crunch, bang, zap, roar, grill, click, snap, crackle, and pop. Let's now look at the last one, which is personification. When you have to give human traits or characteristics to something that isn't human, such as animals, objects, or non-living things. Yes, non-living things. You give it to animals, objects. So that means it's not only limited. You don't say you give human traits. Things are only human too. You give it to animals, you give it to objects, you give it to non-living things. We call it what? Personification. Personification. So let's look at examples now. The willow tree shook longer. A tree, it's human being that shakes. So for a tree, for you to be saying a willow tree shook, you are using human attributes. The examples is referring to the way that the willow tree's long branches sway in the wind. By saying shook longer, the tree is given characteristics of what human just have said. Then there is let me cite other examples that are not part of the material here. When you said, oh, the sun is angry. Yes, the sun is angry. You are saying that the sun is very hot. That's what you are saying. That is, oh, this the weather. That's what you are saying. Let's look at more examples here. The car danced across the icy road. You can't have car dancing. So when you are saying you are giving human attribute, the angry clouds march across the sky. The stars in the clear night sky winked at me. The tulips nodded their heads in the breeze. All these you are saying, they are not all these they are not you are giving human attributes to non-human. You are giving to non-living things, which they are just used in order for you to understand what is being said, to understand better. So this is where we are going to stop at today's class. I'm going to talk to you in our next class. Make sure you stay home and you stay safe. God bless you all.